Well, hello everyone. This is Lawrence again, continuing my series of vinyl finds for the summer of 2019. I think this is the fourth video, and I already posted two of them on YouTube. Eventually, they will all be on YouTube, so you can watch and enjoy. Um, Instead of getting in front of the camera and showing them off, I just thought I'd do this type of flip through. Because when I get in front of the camera, I have to put really good lighting on, and it's such a hassle. And I'm a little shy in front of the camera, so besides, I wanted the focus to be on the album. So, anyway, we're in the area of instrumentals and jazz type of music. And if you're familiar with Command Records or the Project 3 series of albums, I'm not going into the history. Look that up if you wish. It's very interesting. But guitarist Tony Mottola was artist who recorded extensively for Command Records and Project 3, and I have many of his albums on those labels, and these are recent edition. Now, isn't that a beautiful album cover? I just fell in love with it. You got the flowers with all the pink and yellow and various other shades of color, with the green and then the black, and then the woman's profile face in there. Just a beautiful album cover. And with Command Records and Project 3, they were very famous. They pioneered the gatefold, which you open it up, it contains information about the recordings and behind every piece of music that's on the album, every title. This came out, I think, 1967, 68 in the backside, and these album covers are laminated, so they stayed really in great condition, and these are showing you are in great condition. Command Records and Project 3 catered towards the audiophile type of people, and people who were into that really took much better care of their records. And then here's another one by Tony. Oh, the first one is, of course, called Lush, Latin, and Lovely. So kind of Latin music done in a easy listening style with lush arrangements. Tony Mottola, I'm gonna mess up the name. Guitar, a Latin Love-In, okay? And another beautiful album cover. And she has the guitar holding, just beautiful artwork. And again, another gatefold, which is cool. And in great condition. Now, I got these for $1.49. Command Records and going into Project 3 are some of the best sounding records I've ever heard. Again, I don't want to go into the history, just look it up, because they were pioneers in experimenting with the early stages of stereo. So they would do stuff like the ping pong stereo, where you hear an instrument bouncing back and forth from one channel to another. This is really a cool cover. Tony Mottola again, Rome Today. You got the woman on the motorbike, same on the back. That's pretty cool. Looks a little bit like James Bond-ish, type of photos, along with the again the gatefold with all the information. Here's an actual Command record, and I do collect Command records and paperback ballads. And called Light. He was the mastermind behind the Command record label and the Project 3. So that's pretty cool. And Command Records, they were famous for their minimalistic artwork. I think people just collect the albums for the artwork. Let me show you another one real quick. There we go. Oh, this is a good one. That's cool. The persuasive trombone of Urbie Green. So a bunch of musicians recorded for Command Records, and you got the gatefold. Okay, so let's move on. I don't want to keep this video too long, so I'm just going to flip through them. I don't know much about this person. He was instrumental in jazz and instrumental music sound stage. So these are movie themes done in instrumental styles. That's cool. Carlos Montoya was a famous flamenco guitarist. Very good. There he is again. Tommy Dorsey, the best of. 2 record set, but they, I guess through budget cuts at the label, they eliminated the gatefold. There's Carlos again with a duplicate. The International Jazz Group, a host of jazz musicians who got together, and this one you got the signatures right here of one of them, Arville Shaw, and I'm trying to researching to see if that signature's really his. So doing that. This is a very good album, small group of jazz musicians, and you can see the really cool photo of the sessions right there. Very good album. Weather Report, Heavy Weather, one of their best known albums. Stanley Clarke's School Days, which is considered his best album. This is interesting. This is a 3-disc set of Benny Goodman in the 1950s with something called the Sextex. Okay, this was after the big band era, where big band music had faded, and it had not become economically feasible to have big bands anymore, for band leaders to have like 40 musicians around the country. It just wasn't feasible. I think Count Basie is one of the few band leaders that managed to keep his the huge ensemble of musicians together, but a lot of them just broke it up into groups of 3, 6, and this is the Sextex, Benny Goodman, and album of swing classic, and most of this is live, recorded in the 1950s, recorded on location during an engagement at New York Basin Street in 1956. And then it's Benny Goodman, Teddy Wilson, Urbie Green, Roby Bluff, Milt Hilton, Bobby Donaldson, Perry Lopez, and Paul, I'm not going to pronounce that last name. It has a really, really nice booklet with pictures, profiles of each musician, and about this recording, a history bio of Benny Goodman. I've got a lot of Benny Goodman albums, and the vinyl is 3-disc set, and they're all in really good shape. And I was lucky because the thrift store I got this from, I looked through the albums and picked out what I wanted, but this was shoved back with the books. I just happened to catch my eye, so I got this for $1. Very good condition, very playable. Okay, speaking of Benny Goodman, and I got a ton of his albums, but I went ahead and got this one too when I saw it at a thrift store. It's a collection of his recordings, gatefold 2-disc, and the reason I got it was not redone in stimulated stereo. The engineers kept it in mono, so that's cool, and it's in great condition. I don't buy a record unless it's in playable condition. Another jazz album. Hey, another Command record. This one's Doc Severinsen, who recorded extensively for Command Records. This is not gatefold. I think this is later. The saxophone. These are artists, saxophonists, big names who recorded for Impulse Records, and they put this 3-disc together. The names on it are Coleman Hawkins, Sonny Stitt, Sonny Rollins, Johnny Hodgins, John Coltrane, Archie Stitt, Lester Young, Charlie Parker, Annette Coleman, and the list goes on, to about 12 artists here. This is really cool gatefold, where they're actually just talking about the history of the saxophone and jazz, and put a collection together of some of the best saxophone jazz artists on that label. Chuck Manchovy 1980s Fun and Games album. This is really cool. Gatefold again. This is the who's who of jazz for the later 80s, and this was recorded at the various places, the Greek Theater of University of California, Berkeley, July 16th, 1977, and San Diego Civic Center. And we got Ron Carter, Herbie Hancock, Freddie Herbert, Wayne Shorter, and Tony Williams, giants of jazz for that era here. And lastly, we have Lady Smith Black Sombolza. I probably butchered the name, but this is the South African vocal group that recorded with Paul Simon on the Graceland album. And you can hear their vocals on various tracks, Diamonds on the Sole of Her Shoes. And this album came out shortly after the Graceland album, and it is produced by Paul Simon. So very, very good. So those are my jazz instrumental type of albums. I wanted to show off before I incorporate them into the library. So for now, this will complete the series of my vinyl show-offs for the summer. Please leave a comment. Enjoy watching the other videos, and thank you very much for watching. You take care. Have a good rest of the summer. Bye-bye.